folks. Ugh. Look at this, so beautiful here. Water on the edge over there. Raining. Oh my gosh. So beautiful out. I don't think the lighting's really coming out in the camera. But I only have a little bit of battery left on my phone. So I just wanted to... I'm going to take the word just out of this. It's just, you got too much justs in there because it's not a just moment. I'm in my hammock, as you can see. I have been thinking a lot as of late about how to keep consolidating my stuff that I personally need to be healthy, happy, and comfortable. The smallest amount of space. So it seems like my life right now is working really well for me to just for me to be mobile, you know? There's a lot of kind of connections that I can make while moving around and traveling instead of staying on one spot. And anyways, so yesterday evening, is it a pig out there or is it a dog? It's a dog. It'd be cool if there were pigs over there though. So what is that? That's a personal area. I like ministry. What I'm feeling is that it kind of hit me yesterday that I think I have it down. I'm like, I'm feeling today. I'm now calling is my liberation. Today is the first full day of my liberation from the system. I think I've gathered all the necessary knowledge and information to have gotten over that hump. There's a lot more that I'm going to continue to do, but I felt it yesterday. It's been a long freaking time coming, folks. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I know that many seek to achieve that, and I've only gotten there with lots of support from many people. This is what it comes down to, right? It comes down to ultimately having your needs of what you need to exist within I'm gonna be thinking about how to better explain this, because this will be probably a topic, which we're still alive here. Yeah. Well, let me tell you how I came to it. I have basically everything I need in my backpack right now. I mean, it's kind of heavy. I'm still gonna keep getting it lighter and lighter, but I have a backpack and like a food bag. With that, I got my hammock, I got the rain fly, I got a couple pieces of clothing. I was cold last night. I need to get a sleeping bag. I've been cold the last few nights, uncomfortably so, and not dangerously so. I just gotta like get my ass up and move around and stuff like that if I get too cold. So there's that. But that's something that I'm going to add in and adjust. But I keep going through all my things and, okay, what do I need? Do I really need this? And sometimes I can, like I had that tensile tent and I love it. It's great, it's fun, but it's not lightweight. the hammock, this thing, it's not even a whole pound, this thing. This rainfly weighs more than the hammock. So the tensile's like way too heavy to be carrying around, and it's cool, it's great, I love it, but I'm gonna probably have to unload it, sell it, or just find a place to store it. But I want to get more away from storing stuff because, I mean, I don't mind that, that's fine, because that's not, the point for me is not to have nothing, like, that's not the point. The point to me is a lot more being able to do what I'm here to do. A big part of that is having the space, let my mind move as needed, to think. Right here, look at, I got all these ferns all around me. Look at it, it's so cool. I can think. That is one of the most beautiful and valuable gifts that you could ever give to yourself, and it's so underappreciated. I'll tell you, I know plenty of successful business people. It's practically a virus that they have, and that they're constantly filling their mind and their space, cramming it with more and more and more and more to get more and more and more done. I think we got to this place of craziness and insanity. That's pretty much how it happened. There was a moment many years ago, millennia ago, if not millions of years ago, when we as humans had all the space that we needed to think and reflect and contemplate, learn, and let our minds and our souls and our beings engage with the world around us. And that is something that I've sought deeply. All of the people who have contributed the greatest to our society and life and humanity have always typically been people who have had a chance and opportunities and created for themselves the opportunities to engage with nature and to allow their mind to move as needed and freely. So I've known this. Anastasia and the Ringing Cedars talks about that. Have we talked about the Ringing Cedars? I can't quite remember. We're gonna have to do that as another bit. If I'm gonna look, I don't think we really have. I'm gonna go over it. We'll go over it again. I just have barely any battery left on my phone right now. So, but this is just like a really important topic, and I want you to think a little bit about that, right? Do you have the space and the time? I mean, most people, even if you have lots of money, right? You're probably occupied by all kinds of stuff that take you from thinking about and letting your mind fully penetrate and think about all kinds of stuff. I'm not saying that's the only thing you need to be doing at all. However, I think there's a value there that is actually covered up in the sense that when we're children growing up, we have I see this with kids and parents and adults, like parents and their children all the time. The child is fully occupied and engaged in some activity, and then the adult interrupts the child. Anastasia in the Ringing Cedars, she says that that's a really, really bad thing to do. It's best to let the child fully work with their thought processes. If you keep interrupting a child's thought processes, it's really bad for them. And that's true for an adult also. In her culture, she has a high respect for, like, her way of life is with her kids when she was raising them, is that you wait until the person's done thinking. This requires you to observe them and to study and listen and see how long a person, like if a person is engaged in something, to have the discipline and the patience, the discipline ultimately, and also the knowledge and understanding of why it's important to do that. But wait until they're done with what they're doing, and then and then when they're ready, then you get, and it could be not, and it might not seem like it's on your timeline. That means we have to restructure our whole environments of how we relate with children and how we relate with ourselves. Business owners, this also means that you have important decisions that will affect the lives of your company, the life of your company, but also the health of your employees. So, if we're making hurried decisions about, I've already gone through this with supposedly highly successful business people. I'll tell you, that path is short, and it's just silly. I'm sorry, it's silliness. There's no practical, like, if you were to actually sit with the rationalization of taking this path of, hey, we're gonna go and make this decision, then this decision real fast, and this decision real fast. I'm sorry, but no, not now, never. I say that with some emotional kind of intensity, but I do it like that to kind of like engage you in that a little bit. I want you to remember that. We'll talk more about that. That's like an important one. But it's important not just, here's an example why. Well, let me just give you a quick example why. Let's say that you go about doing something. Oh my gosh, the colors. So beautiful. Okay, this is turning into a much longer video. Let's say that you go to do something. Let's say you go to make a meal, right? And as you're making the meal, you make a huge mess, and then it takes you 1 hour to make the meal, and it takes you 10 hours to pick it up. Is that a good ratio? No, you're creating more chaos in the process. If you go to eat, the idea is that you are, as a being of organization and homeostasis, that you're creating more coherent, that you are a vehicle of transformation, okay? You must be that. You must be a vehicle of transformation into goodness, okay? Those are many layers of concept there that I'm not going to be able to fully explain right now, but if you can understand kind of like the feeling behind it, and just let yourself have time to process that a little bit, you'll get there. But you must be a vehicle of transformation in the sense that you're taking disparate pieces of information, energies, food, materials, and many levels, and what you're doing with it then is you bring it together, and then you have some level of synthesis. Synthesis is when you take this thing and then this thing over here, and you combine them, and you extract, and then oftentimes there's some new thing that comes through as a result of the combination, but there's also some level of letting go of other things that weren't quite at the essence of it. I'm sure there's a better example of synthesis than that. However, we're really talking not about synthesis, we're talking more about transformations. We're taking base elements and then we're bringing them into our being and our psyche, and then we're creating something new. And this something new should not be arbitrary, it should be something worthwhile and good for you. So I'm going to go out there on a limb. That's the process by which we've created life, essentially. Life is an aggregation of vast amounts of information, basically. And it's come together in a form which we can interact with that demonstrates a spirit. So I don't really want this to turn into a very philosophical talk. This is more actually meant to be, for me personally, a celebration of what I'm feeling in my heart is a moment where I've crossed over a pivotal point in my relationship with the world, specifically with society and the forces that do not have my best interest in mind, which is understandable. I'm not making it into a bad thing. We'll talk about that also. It's kind of a topic, but essentially though, I think I'd love to just offer for you to take a little time to think about where can you find a little bit in your life where you can cultivate a space for yourself to continue your own inner and personal transformation. Specifically, areas where you can take this method, this activity or item that you use to take care of yourself, and another item or object activity, and maybe you can find a strategy that is one. This is awful. I'm sorry. One. So let's say you have two different actions. Let's say you go play mini golf for fun, and then you also go driving in your car around town for fun, right? What is the core behind that that makes you have fun, right? When you get to that level, then you might find one activity that meets your needs for fun. I'm sorry, that's probably an awful example. This video is just going downhill, folks. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm probably gonna have to continue this. Probably running out of battery on this thing, but it's about coming to the essence of something. When you get really clear on what is the essence behind something that you're doing, you're more powerful in your approach for actually meeting it. So instead of having many different ways to benefit yourself, you can be more flexible with momentary things that are unique to that moment, but also will meet the deeper parts of your soul. And then there's also will be some strategies which are more simplified in such a way that you can benefit yourself with simpler approaches. And simple is usually like an expression of elegance and combines a lot in just a moment. I'm sorry, I totally botched this one. Sometimes I just nail it, sometimes I don't nail it. I need to reflect more on this. Hopefully you got some kind of value out of this video. One way or another, we got a beautiful setting here on us, and I'm gonna just cut myself off right now because it's not getting any better. Anyways, thanks again for bearing with me today if you decided to join me, and you might have not even, probably lots of you I lost you right in the maybe not even all the way halfway. Okay, well, to being emancipated. Love you guys, bye.